Hello everybody, I've just started doing my December daily. I forgot all about videoing it, and I was talking to a friend and she said if you're doing it you might as well video it and let people see how you do it and what you're doing. So welcome to my December daily. As you can see, I bought a Simple Stories book. They come from album. They come from America. You do get free sheets in them. You get a few papers, you get some hardwood dividers, and you also get some photo pages, different sizes, so that you can do those if you prefer. Oh, pardon me. I tend to do a mixture of both. They come plain, they come in several different colours, but I nearly always have this colour, and I always choose my front cover from a bag. I go around and I look for Christmas bags. So I had this one this year. Can't remember where I bought it from. Probably Marks and Spencer's or somewhere. And I've cut it down and put it on here to fit. And that will be my cover. So I'll do the corners properly as you do. And I'll do it all under, tuck it under, and then I'll line the inside as well. Just as like you would if you made your own album. My only concern about these albums is that they're not very wide, so it limits the amount of stuff that I can put in them. Sometimes I'm tempted to do two, and I just think no, one is enough, you know, get on with it and make it fit. And the other thing is it's only got two of these ring binders, so it makes it tricky. If I want to do half a page, I've still got to make a long binder to take the half a page. So it can be bothersome, but because I've used it for, how many have I got on my shelf? 2, 4, 5. I've got 5 up there already that I've done since 2019. That I don't let it bother me. You know, it could get to me if I let it, but I just don't let it. I like the idea of having these all looking the same on my shelf and looking nice, you know. I like working with them. I've got used to it and I'm reluctant to change, although if I do change, I'm pretty sure I would go over to Ali Edwards or somewhere like that who do the big spines that are 2.5 inches wide. I would probably do that. I don't know whether I'd like to do a 10-inch one, 10 by 8. You know, they're longer this way. I don't know if I'd want to do that or not. I quite like this format. Anyway, what I've done is I've applied my high-tack glue. I did try and use the bookbinding glue, but it is so cold, it was so thick I couldn't spread it. So I covered my cover with it, and then I put my paper on, and then I've got one of these swooshers, and I've just spread it all out neatly so that there's no lumps or bumps or anything underneath that will come through the page. Now I've done that, I think I'll do the corners, and I'll do a little bit more and then I'll show you what I've done, because I'm not experienced enough at doing this to do it any other way. Okay, so I'll show you later. I've cut the corners off so that I've not got lots of bulk on the corners, and I've also pulled the paper up and really pushed it against the edge so that it's neatly folded, and it will go around the cardboard. If I make a crease, then there will be a gap between the edge and the paper, because it's not thin enough for to fit within a crease. So I just mould it around like this, get the paper thinking this is what I'm going to be doing, giving it a bit of memory so that it will do that, and then this one will come last. Okay, right, I put some glue right in that edge there, and I do both of these edges first, and I've got a lovely little brush that's just ideal for this, and then spread some glue on the rest of it. It's quite difficult because the weather's quite cold and the glue's quite thick and stiff, so it's not the easiest thing. There we go, and the same on this one. I'm sorry if I'm getting in your way. As I say, the way of the camera, as I tell you, I'm not experienced at doing this, so you'll just have to bear with me for a little bit. Right, and now I literally just ease this across. That's it. Ease. And the same with this one. Ease it. When the glue's been on there for a little while, it's a little bit easier to mould the paper because it goes a bit softer, so it is easier. That's that one. Now this is the last one. There we go. And ease it from the centre out, from the centre out, from the centre out. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. You have to tuck these little corners in to wrap around the edges of your book. Although I have got some metal corners that I could put on there if I wanted to, but I'm not sure yet. I'll see how I go. And then make sure you got it all stuck down neatly. We don't want any loose ends. There we go. And then when you close it, it's neat like that, and the corners are nice, do you know? But if the corners are a bit sharp, I just bang them on the table like that, and then it makes them go round, you see, and it's nice then. So that will be my front cover. Anybody that knows me knows that I absolutely adore animals. So I bought this one, and I also bought one with dogs on it. And I cut this out and I stuck it on, and I thought it was the one with dogs on. How stupid is that? But then when I looked, I thought, oh no, it's all the winter animals. So this year, this is what I'm having. Perhaps I'll have the dogs on the next one. But yeah, I love animals. I do a lot of rescue work. Give my time voluntary to rescues. And I just think it's just such a worthy cause. They haven't got a voice, so we are their voice. So I thought that would be appropriate. I want to do a page this year on the rescue work that I do, because in all the years I've done these December dailies, I've never mentioned it. It's just part of me, and I've never even bothered saying about it. And I thought it would actually make a nice page. I could put some pictures in of dogs that I've helped find homes and things like that, because eventually I am hoping that my grandchildren will see these when I'm dead and gone, and they'll learn a little bit about me and about our family, you know, from reading all these things. So that's what I'm hoping. It's like a social diary, really, of our family and what we do leading up to Christmas and including New Year. Right, I've got my album, and I've put a little D-ring on there, and it's a D-ring with a little that's a little washer, and that there is a little screw. You make a hole. I used my Memory Keeper's big bite, and then you just press it through the hole and screw them together, and you end up with that. Okay, now I can't remember what they're called. This is the details of what I ordered. So I'll have to go back through my eBay, Amazon, all of that, and look for the actual order and see what I ordered. But that's the code, okay? And that's what I use every year. I bought this pair of earrings, which I thought would be lovely to go on the end of my album. Let's have a look. Rather like that. So they'll hang on there and they'll just hang down, okay? I can't do it now. Well, I need to change them from earrings, which they are. So I've got some jewellery findings. I've got little rings, double split rings. The double split rings are good because they don't open up. They're like little tiny key rings. So I'll use one of those of a size I can manage. And then I have a little lobster claw clasp that I will use to join it onto there. Unfortunately, these are all gold, and I haven't got any little gold D-rings that go on the album, but it's okay, it'll be fine. And I've got a variety of jewelry making tools in here, which are ideal for you know, opening and closing. These ones open and close the little rings that are very they're ever so difficult to use. They're so tiny, but given that the chain is so tiny on there, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. But because it's so small. But there we are, that's my plan. I'll let you know how I get on. I definitely can't film it because it's so difficult as it is. And if I start filming it, it's a complete disaster. It's just a complete recipe for disaster. So I'll show you how I'm getting on later on. Well, after an hour of fiddling, messing, dropping split rings, cussing, sorry, cussing on a Sunday, it's just not on, is it? I managed to make a dangly, which is what I wanted to do. So we've got a little, whoops, a daisy, got a little lobster at the top, 2 little chains and 2 little gifts. Okay, because this year my idea for the my album was that my reason why I'd like to express what I do in my book this year is gratitude. And I thought gratitude and thankfulness is a gift that I feel that I've got this year for Christmas, for the season, for the people that I'm with, not the gifts I'm going to receive, but the people that I'm going to be with and the love that they're going to give me, and just being surrounded by magic and lovely things. So I thought these little gifts were a good symbol of the gift of gratitude this year. So there we are, little lobster claw. Get your little D-ring, clip them on, and there we are. How does that look? Does that look okay? I thought they looked really cute. Of course, in there I will put the year. I've not been able to find any of these in gold, otherwise I'd change them, but it is what it is. I mean, it doesn't all have to match, I don't think, and that's fine for me. If it's not fine for you, you can do something else, but for me, that's fine. Anyway, onwards and upwards. The next thing to do is to line the inside of this. I've got various papers and things, so I'll get those out and we'll have a look at what we can do. I've sorted out some papers. I've had this book for a long time. It's a big stack and it's got loads and loads, make blues at the back, which I won't use, but then it's got loads of different ones. I don't particularly like a lot of the heavy ones, but some of them are really great just as backgrounds for lining the insides of albums, and these are really lovely for cutting out edging of pockets and things like that. So out of that one, let me just pop that down out of the way. I found these. I don't want to use that on this, but I found that. I looked at the greens. I didn't like the greens with it, and I found that I quite like that too, so I thought that was nice. The kit that I'm using this year as my main paper is Hello Christmas by Carta Bella. I bought this because it's got extras with it. It's quite difficult actually to find things with pages like this in them, and I thought, well, I really like that. That's lovely. Lots of little things, lots of cards that I can pop into my photo wallets, and I just thought it was really lovely. But there's not enough of it to be using it for lining my book, because bearing in mind I'll need 2, one for each inside cover. So there's like these are the papers. I thought they're really lovely. Lots and lots of different things. I thought they were smashing. But I say I should have bought 2 packs, but at £20 a pack I was trying to be sensible. So anyway, I found these ones and I'm just going to have a play now and decide what I prefer. So I've got that one. I could have that in there like that, or I could have that in there like that. I think I prefer the light one because the cover is quite light. It's not heavy. I feel that that's a bit heavy and it's not quite the right colour either. So I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to cut this down and then I'll be back to show you what to do. I've decided on this. I've cut it down to fit with the gap that I want around the outside. And I will just, if I can find the end, that is. Let me see where it is. There it is. I will put tape round the very edge, and then I'll put glue in the middle, because I know that this will hold it really well on the edges. There is some shading on part of the edges of this, so I'm going to decide where I'd like the shading in relation to the papers and the edges, whether I want it on the outside edges or the inside edges. I'll have a little look, see how I go. Right, that's that. Right, see the shading. So I think the shading needs to be on the outside. I've made it to go on there like that, up against that. I thought if I put it up there, it's not, I got gaps, it doesn't look right. So I thought if I put it here, it just looks better. So I have the shading around the edge like that. Now, before I do that, I've got the edges here that I'd like to do. So with the bag came this, which I think is really nice, and it's really flat, but it needs a good press. I don't think I can do it like this. It needs a really good press before I put it on. So I've got that, but I've also got some other ribbons. So I'm going to go and have a look, search those out and see what I prefer, because I'd really like ribbon to go around the front there. I think it just finishes it off. So it's without, without. I think it just, I don't know why, it just finishes it off nicely for me, that does. That's the back, which is the right hand side of the bag that I used, and that's the left side of the bag for the front. Yeah, I just think that's lovely on there, that red, it just finishes it off nicely. But I'll have a look, I'll router it out some more and I'll see which looks best. I've searched out a lot of ribbons. There's silver, which I don't think really goes with colourway. I've got white. Let's see what this looks like, if I can find the end. Oh gosh, it's really caught in. There we go. Got white velvet, which doesn't really do much, does it? Doesn't really do anything much. I've got the green velvet. Well, there's the edge. That's fantastic. Actually found the end. That's good. So I've got the green velvet, like that, which, although I'm not into green this year, I don't know why. I just don't want much green, but that looks okay. So we'll put that to one side as a possible. Then we've got gold ribbon tape. Oh, that's come off. It's like washi, but it's ribbon. So there's that one. What does that look like? If I did that, I'd probably add some sparkle on the wreaths and the holly and the berries. I'd probably get my you know, the little drops out and add some twinkles and some 3D elements to the front, because this is quite in your face. But I do quite like that, I've got to admit, provided I added the gold and the twinkles. So that can go to one side. Then I've got the same thing in red. No, that doesn't really do it for me. It's too, I don't know, it does pick out the red in the door, I suppose. There's that one. I've got this one, which is just red satin, which I thought was quite nice because it kind of matched the flatness of the door. I thought it was beautiful, and I thought it doesn't stand out, it doesn't poke you in the eye when you look at it. And then that would mean if I put little sparkles on the wreath and little red sparkles, then those would stand out more and draw your eye into the door and the picture. So there was that one, which I quite liked. And then there was this one, which was the velvet one, which I can't find how to undo. Here we go. The red velvet one, which I thought also was quite nice, but it was it didn't quite look the right colour red. There wasn't anything else this colour red in the photograph in the picture to bring it out. So I think I'm leaning towards flat red, which I think is nearer to the door. Green, which it just seems too much of a difference. I just can't get into green. Or there's the gold one, and I'll put the sparkles on. So I think I'm going to have gold with sparkles because it is Christmas and that's what we do. We have sparkles at Christmas. And so yeah, I'm going to choose that one. And what I'll do is I'll hold it like that. Right, let's measure what we need. There we are. We'll cut that. And I need two of those, one for the back and one for the front. Or do I actually? I'm thinking that it will go around there like that, and around there like that, and around there, whoops, like that, with this, either like that over the top, so we only see that bit of the glitter, or underneath. No, I think just that amount will do. So I think if I just put it to the edges of there, mind you, I can't do that, can I? Because it's going to go over the middle. So if it's over the join, then I will have a tiny bit showing. So how do I prefer it? Do I prefer it with a little tiny bit showing or a lot of it showing? Oh gosh, got to make a decision. No, I think I will do it like that. I'll do it all the way around. I'll put the pages on, the insides on first, and then I'll put these on afterwards. These ribbons are like the ribbons you use for floristry, that plasticky sort of ribbon, you know. So I'm going to put tape on the back so that I can stick them down. Let's just have a little look and see what width tape, because this is my very sticky red. Let's just see, does that work? Does that fit? Yeah, that fits beautifully. Look at that, just a little tiny little bit each side. That's okay, we can do that. Gosh, this is fiddly. There's got to be an easier way of doing this. If you know what it is, please let me know. I'm doing well, aren't I? I think I'd be better if I put the tape on the album and then put the ribbon on top of the tape. I think that's much more sensible. Come on, Callie, get your head in gear. Right. let's put this on. There's my glue. I need another brush because I stupidly did not put my brush into soak last night. So I've got a stiff brush this morning, which isn't really a good plan, is it? Right. Better roll my sleeves up, otherwise I'll get sticky sleeves. These brushes really are lovely. They probably came from Hobbycraft or somewhere, but they're really nice. Make sure we've got some along that line where the paper's going to go. That's one. Now this one. Not quite sure which way to do this, but we'll just do it, shall we? And if it's nearly perfect, that will be okay. If it's absolutely perfect, that will be wonderful. Oh, I hate, that's the only trouble with that red tape, is the flipping bits that you get on the back. Right, so let's get it lined up top and bottom as best we can. Do you think that looks about right? And then be brave and just go for it. There we are. It's not too bad. There we are, that's one side. And what did I do with the other piece? There it is. Covered in little bits. Just pop those in then. Oh, they are so static. There we are. Now this is the other one. Hold on a minute, I haven't got any more red tape. Let me go and get some.